Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome to my channel. So in this video, I am going to be swatching these three beautiful chromes from Koko and Claire for you guys. I'm also going to share a few tips and tricks when it comes to using chromes, and I'm going to compare the Koko and Claire to a couple other chromes that I have in my collection. So if this is something that you're interested in, keep on watching. As always, don't forget to click that like and subscribe button for me. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below. And without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so in my original haul video where I first spoke about these chromes, I did talk a little bit about the packaging and things like that, but I do want to mention, if you notice the couple of scratches and markings on these two lids here, they did not come like that. This morning has been quite the morning. Even just printing out my labels for my swatch sticks, I had to reprint them, some of them like 4 times because I was spelling them wrong or I was putting them on wrong, or one ripped, one got acetone spilt on it. So that's what happened here. I actually spilled a tiny little drop of acetone, and as we know, acetone eats through everything, so it ruined my lid. And I don't even know how I scratched this one, but I'm pretty certain that when I got the package, it did not have any scratches. They were beautifully packaged and perfect. So that is not how you will receive them. And the kit that I bought was just the bundle package. So it actually came with the little chrome tool, the little silicone tool for chrome. As you can see, I've already utilized this one. And the kit, when I purchased it, was $55. Now I did use a coupon code from Talia, and I will link that below for you guys as well. But without further ado, let's get into swatching. Okay guys, I am super excited to get into swatching these three beautiful chromes from Koko and Claire for you guys. So as mentioned in the intro, I am swatching them over a black, a white, and a purple. Oftentimes we don't see colors being swatched with chromes. We usually see a black and a white, but I just wanted to do a color for you guys just to show what it looks like over this purple color. Now I will say that I love these chromes over any color, but of course if anyone knows me who's watching, they will know that I would gravitate towards the purples, the pinks, the teals, the blues. Those color palettes are just ones that I always gravitate to, but I will say that I have used these over oranges and yellows and greens, and they look amazing as well. So let's get into it. Guys, when you first open the jar, you are going to think to yourself, oh my gosh, what a tiny little bit of product. Did I really spend that much product on this little of a pot? But as small as this little jar is, it is quite deep. And when it comes to pigments like chromes or unicorns, things like that, you do not use a lot. So as I mentioned in my original haul video where I was talking about the Koko and Claire, I also spoke about the Luminaura Aurora pigments that I bought, and I'm telling you guys that little jar, which I'm also going to show you today because I'm going to be comparing it with these ones, that jar lasted me probably 4 or 5 years. So do not get discouraged when you see the tiny amount that's in these jars, because it will last you forever. So the first one that I'm going to be swatching is called Eternity. We're going to start with the black swatch stick here. So I've got this already prepped with a tack-free top coat. So now talking about top coats, the one that I'm currently using is no longer in production, so I will not be using it any further. I know that a lot of people use the Accents Shine On, and I believe with the Accents Shine On that you only cure it for, I think it's 10 seconds before you apply your chrome. Now I am actually going to be trying out the KIARA Sky one from the Pink Chair because it was recommended by Kelly, and as you know, I love purchasing products from her, so that's going to be the next one on my list. That being said, if you have a top coat that you love to use for chrome, let me know in the description, or excuse me, in the comment section below, because I would love to hear what everyone is using. I know Shine On has been the most popular one so far, but there might be some new ones out there that I haven't heard of. Okay, I know I'm a chitty chatter girl, but I love to make sure that I'm sharing as much information as possible when I do videos. So, as I mentioned, you get this little silicone tool in the kit. Now, I will say I have purchased other silicone tools from other companies, eBay, Amazon, for example, and they tend to be very flimsy. This one is not flimsy at all. I will say that I do wish that the silicone tools were a bit shorter, because I do feel like if they were shorter, they would be even less flimsy and even more firm, but they all seem to have a little bit of length on them. I haven't seen any that are super short, like say something like that tiny, and I'm sure there's a reason for that. So let's get into Eternity. Now this is the one that I feel is the closest to, or is going to be the closest to, the one that I have from Luminaura that I was looking to replace. So basically you just dip your brush, your silicone tool, excuse me, into the chrome, and you go ahead and start rubbing it on the top coat. Now you want to make sure when you are applying your top coat that you are applying it very well and you're not missing areas. I cannot guarantee that that is going to be the case with these, because like I said this morning, I was just fumbling everywhere. It was such a schmozzle. So we may have some imperfections on these tips. Now, of course, when you're working on a client, you just want to make sure that you put your hand underneath their finger, obviously, so that you can apply a lot of pressure and really rub it in. Now, I do not completely finish with the silicone tool. I actually finish with a rubber glove, and I will show you in a second. So that is the first application. You can see there are a little bit of like areas that aren't quite covered as well. So this is why I like to go back in with a rubber glove, or you can use like a little finger condom like this. So I'm just gonna shove this guy on because it's easier than putting on a rubber glove. But if you put on a rubber glove, you wanna make sure that you pull it taut, that it's nice and tight around your finger. And then you just take this, take your client's nail, and you're going to rub. Now, one thing that I will say, a tip that you want to make sure, if you have long nails like myself, you want to make sure that you bend your finger, if you can, upwards, because if you happen to have your finger angled down, you will come across the nail and you will end up scraping and scratching your chrome, which I have done in the past, and then you have a scratch line that you cannot fix. You actually have to completely start all over, or restart, like do another layer of the top coat and then the chrome again. So make sure that when you are burnishing it in with your finger, that you try to bend your finger up and just rub with the skin. Do not hit it with your nail. So I'm just going to go in and do that here and just really, really rub it in. I find that you have less chipping issues, that it just gets burnished in that much better. All right, so it does look a little bit more burnished in. Now it still has a little bit of that pitting, but to be completely honest, when you do this on a client's nails, no one is looking that close at their fingers, and if they are, I would highly suggest that they tell that person to back away and give them 6 feet, because we are in a pandemic. So yes, you want to make sure that you burnish it in, and then what I do is I will top coat with 2 layers of top coat, and I still am using the Young Nails stain resistant top coat. That is my favorite one, and I actually usually have a designated bottle of top coat that I use for chromes and glitters, because sometimes it'll always happen when you are applying your top coat over chromes or glitters, there's always going to be a little bit of residual glitter left on that brush, and then when you put it back in the bottle, well, then you've got a glitter gel top coat, which sometimes you don't want that when you're doing solid colors. So I would say a little tip is to have 2 separate bottles of top coat, one for chromes and glitters and one for your solid color. All right, so now I am getting into the white of and adding the Eternity over the white. So again, I'm just dipping my brush into that little jar and burnishing it in with the silicone tool, rubbing it in fairly well, making sure that it is all covered. And then I'm going to go back in with my little finger condom or your rubber glove and finalize that burnishing by really, really, really getting it burnished in there. And voila! It's a beautiful color. I will say that this one is very close to the Luminaura. I'm going to do the comparisons at the end of this video once I get them all swatched for you guys. now I'm going to move on to the purple one, which is a very cool color to put chrome over. And you will see that what it will pick up is a lot more of that pink undertone. Guys, like, look how pretty that is. It's not even really showing in the camera the full effect, because it does pick up a little bit of like a gold, a little bit of an orange, a little bit of a green. Like, it is such a beautiful, beautiful chrome. Definitely a beautiful like unicorn chrome. Next up, we have Bougie, and I'm going to start with the black. Now I will say that I felt like when I did a little bit of nails on clients, that Bougie and Eternity seemed very similar to me, but they are slightly different. I would say that Bougie has maybe a little bit more of an orange hue to it, whereas Eternity has a little bit more of a pink hue. So I've got it all applied on there, and again I'm just going to go in with my little finger condom. I actually don't know if that's what these are called. That's what I call them. They might be called something a little more professional than that. So I'm going to burnish that in again. Now actually I'm going to just show you the Eternity and the Bougie together so you can see. So if you look at Eternity, it has a little bit more of that purple green kind of shift, and the Bougie has more of the orange green shift. So when you put them together on the black, you can definitely see the difference, but they are a little bit similar. Now we are going to go into swatching Bougie over white. This is where I found it a lot harder to tell them apart, was over white. They look so similar, and both of them again are very comparable to the Luminaura Aurora one, and that is the one that I was looking to replace. So these two will definitely suffice. Again, going in and burnishing in with my little gloved finger. All right, I'm going to grab the white one from Eternity. I'll put them together. So you can see they're very, very similar. This one from Eternity, I would say, is probably the closest one I have to Luminaura. I will show you that comparison at the end, but they are very similar. You can see when I'm moving them in the light, this one picks up a little bit more of that orange hue, and this one picks up a little bit more of that purpley hue. They're both so pretty though, and would be perfect over any color. And now we will swatch Bougie over this beautiful purple color. Again, it's so pretty over this color. Let me grab Eternity. So as you can see, again, when I tilt that swatch stick or those swatch sticks in the light, you see a little bit more of that orange hue over here and a little bit more of that purple hue on that side. They're so pretty. All right, and last but not least, we have Signature KNC, Signature Koko and Claire. Now this is the one that I was saying is very close to my Johens, I always pronounce it different ways, my Johens Unicorn. So it has a really intense sort of pink undertone. So you will see I'm going to swatch it over the black first. And then of course, like I said, at the end, I will kind of compare the Johens and the Luminaura with all three of these Koko and Claire chromes. So right off the bat, you can see it's got that pink undertone. It's really, really pretty. It has a little bit of like orange and gold, kind of fiery almost. So you can see it's a lot more pink and vibrant. So I will show you it against Bougie and Eternity. So there is all 3 of them. So I will say, so Eternity and Bougie. So Eternity is like a purple green shift. Bougie is like an orange green shift. And then Signature K and C is more of like a pink and orange. So it's a little bit more like, I would say it's like kind of fiery. But they're so pretty. They are perfect. You guys, if you do not have any chromes or you're looking for some unicorn type of chromes, definitely look into the Koko and Claire. The price point is great. Yes, it was $55. Now that is US, so of course with the conversion for us Canadians over here, it ends up being a little more, you know, on the expensive side. But again, I will post below Talia's code and that'll get you, I believe it's 20% off. So if you don't have any chromes, invest in these ones because they are amazing. So let's move into the white tip. All right, here we go. Applying it over the white. Now this one is very different. It is totally different, I find, than the Eternity and the Bougie. Maybe that's why they called it the Signature KNC, because it's their signature color and it's just a little bit different. So again, we're going to burnish that in, make sure it's perfectly smoothened, and there you go. So you can see it's really got that teal behind it. Again, I'm going to compare those for you. Here we've got Bougie and Eternity, and they are very hard to decipher the difference over the white, a lot harder than over the black, but you can see the difference. So again, I will say the Eternity actually seems a little more grainy now that I'm looking at them really closely. The Bougie, so the Eternity has that little bit of purple and green. The Bougie has that more of a little bit of orange, and then the Signature one has more of a pink. So you can see when I'm shifting, if you look at those the lines of light that are running down the center, that's where you can really pick up that little bit of color. Again, amazing, beautiful. You guys need to get these. And lastly, we are going to swatch this over that purple color. All right, again, another beautiful color. Let me grab the Bougie and Eternity for you guys. And here they are. So again, Eternity has a little bit more of that purple color. Bougie has a little bit more of that orange, and the Signature has more of a pink. So again, when you look at that line of light, when I'm moving it, you can see the little bit of reflective color coming through, and they are bomb.com. Right, so as promised, I am going to show you them compared to the Luminaura. So the Luminaura I don't have burnished over the purple, I just have it over the black and white. So I'm going to show you over the black comparatively what it looks like to the Koko and Claire. So I would say that it is the closest, like I said earlier, to Eternity. It's got a little bit of a purple. So this is the Bougie, and as you can see, it's way more of an orange. And this one here, the Signature one, is way more like fuchsia pink. So I would say the closest is Eternity. I really think that any client that I do it on is probably not going to be able to tell the difference from when I did the Luminaura, excuse me, over their nails. It is very, very comparable. Then we're gonna look at the white, and the white is where I feel like it looks nearly dang identical. So I've got the white there from the Luminaura, and now we're going to compare it to the Koko and Claire. So it is pretty close again to Eternity. So I will say the Luminaura is a little more vibrant. You can see in the camera, it's definitely picking up really purple, really blue, really teal. The other three are a lot more subtle. But again, I have used Eternity on a few clients recently, and I was still very, very happy with it. And the only reason that I didn't repurchase the Luminaura, to be honest, is because it's very expensive, and I was looking for something actually to purchase through the pink chair, and then it just happened that Talia had posted the Koko and Claire ones on her Instagram story, and I was like, you know what, let me use her code and try this Koko and Claire out. I don't have any other products from Koko and Claire, so thus far, I mean, I'm quite happy with their pigments, and you know what, in the future I may go back and purchase the Luminaura as well. And if I tilt them and you look at that line of light, you can see a little bit of orange here on Bougie, a little bit of pink, that pink fuchsia on the Signature, and a little bit of that purple. And the Aurora, I would say, picks up a little bit of a purple as well in the line of light. Now, I also wanted to compare and show you guys how similar the Johens Unicorn and the Signature KNC are. So let me grab the Signature KNC. So I've got the black one here. Now I would say that they are very, very close. The difference I would say is the Johens Unicorn is more of a purple fuchsia, and the Signature KNC from Koko and Claire is more of a pinky fuchsia. So if it's picking up in the light, you can see again that line of light is showing more purple on the Unicorn one from Johens, and it's showing up more pink from the Koko and Claire one, but again, very beautiful. And now if I compare the Johens Unicorn to the Signature KNC over the white, very, very similar. Again, if you just see in that little bit of line of light, the Signature one picks up a little bit more on the pink, and the Unicorn from Johens picks up a little bit more of that purpley color. But again, equally just as beautiful. All right, you guys, so I cannot say enough how much I love these chromes. If you have not purchased them, I know I've said it already, but I'm going to repeat it just for the people in the back. If you didn't hear me the first time, if you are looking for some chrome, definitely invest in the Koko and Claire. You get 3 beautiful colors that have slight variations and will look amazing over any color. Alright guys, that is it for this video. If you were on the hunt for some new chromes to add to your current collection, or you were looking for some chromes to start off your collection, I hope that this video gave you some insight into the Koko and Claire. There was also some tips and tricks thrown in there for you, and hopefully they were helpful if you were struggling with applying chromes. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you know anyone else that would like this video, share it with them. Don't forget to comment below if you have any questions. And as always, guys, have an amazing day.